Hello Gemini gang, what's up? Welcome to my channel. Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup, that's me. I'm going to read your tarot cards here today. This will be a general message for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Of course, everyone is welcome into this reading. I just ask you come in with an open heart, an open mind, and a positive vibe. Bring a good attitude, right? If it's not your message, simply release the messages. Assume they're going out to someone else who needs to hear them this week. That being said, I hope lots of this does resonate with you, okay? You are always in control of your own life. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. And thanks for your patience, guys. My 1 week off turned into 2 just because my energy was just real low. I think it was like the solar eclipse stuff. So anyway, thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for your patience. We're going to hop in. Here we go for Gemini. What's a message that wants to be seen this week? We'll take that. All right. The devil, first out. All right. Not necessarily a bad thing. Let's see. I feel like there's a relationship that you might be obsessing about, or the devil is not always toxic. Sometimes it can just be sort of, especially in terms of like bondage, it has a more like sexual aspect to it, I think, this week. So let me keep going through. So I do think ultimately, this might not be the healthiest connection for different reasons. It won't be the same for everyone. I think the universe is asking you to raise your standards. I think you probably went through a karmic relationship or something that just sort of tested your boundaries of how much you were willing to give as someone who is the Empress but maybe hasn't fully realized their power and what they are deserving of in relationships, whether you are male or female. I feel like this person was a false emperor. Like, it seemed like it could have been a really good counterpart, but with the devil, I mean, pun intended, it's like you got spanked. Like, there was just something, there was something that was a little bit, I'm hearing humbling, but the word and so that probably is accurate, but the word I'm looking for is there was something that was very underwhelming about this. And so give it some time. I think because, I don't know if obsession is too hard a word, but there was something about this where your mind just, it kept going back to it. Like, I can fix this. I can make this work. Or maybe I misunderstood. There was a lot of maybe self-blame, even in subconscious ways, in ways you didn't realize. I think given some time, Four of Swords, when you sort of meditate on this, digest the information, maybe replay back some things as they went down with a different perspective on it, I think you're going to see that this leads to Five of Swords, which I do actually like, 4 to the 5. I think with time and thought and meditation, you're going to see that this person maybe, I just don't think their vibe matches you, right? I'm never here to judge anyone or throw anyone under the bus, be it you or your person, but the fact that it goes from 5 of Swords to 10 of Wands, it's like you were left holding on to the thing, or what is that expression? You were left to pick up the pieces, to clean up the mess, and it's funny, it's almost like you need to convince yourself of that, because I don't know if there's like self-blame going on, or this person may literally have come at you with a lot of blame and pointing of fingers. And I think, this is just my interpretation. It seems like you were willing to take on that role or responsibility of the person who should fix it. But eventually you come to this, I'm wanting to say like this enlightenment or this realization, isn't my job. Like, this isn't my problem. And that's sort of what I mean by obsession. I don't know if that's the correct word, but it's like you were so in it, you couldn't see the forest from the trees. So more or less that makes sense to me, because that whole metaphor of being so in it, you lose perspective of the overall situation. That's a tower moment waiting to happen, right? You don't have the tower here. So I think it's incredibly likely that you guys won't get to the point where the universe has to step in and essentially like school you because you weren't getting the lessons. I think these lessons come to you organically, naturally, when just push pause, take a break from the situation, gain a deeper perspective, be very introspective, but I really want to say with Saturnian energy, Saturn, very much connected to Capricorn, you need to watch I'm wanting to say negativity, pessimism, lack of self-perception, or policing yourself, being very harsh and judgmental about your own actions and desires. I don't necessarily see that you were trying to cause drama or chaos or poke the bear. It's very likely you got involved with someone where naturally that sort of is ultimately what transpired. In time, this is going to make more sense, but as it makes more sense, I think you're understanding this is actually something you're being asked to put down. Because again, you're doing all the work. So what is in this for you? Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy being the person that everybody runs to with their problems? It's almost like you've taken on that role possibly for so long. It's almost like your job to be the person who fixes everything and everyone. You lost sight of, but who's that person for you? For starters, Gemini, but also, is there clarity? Is there peace of mind doing this, or do you feel like you got saddled with that role, or you got I'm hearing stifled with the responsibility? But it's like you've been doing it for so long, people just expect it from you now, but that doesn't mean you're meant to do it. And so this dawning of a new day, this realization, this newfound empowerment, I'm even going to say, I don't typically read the Five of Swords this way, but you had to go through some of these battles to realize that your sword is very mighty, it's very powerful, but it's where you've been putting that mental energy that was sort of the flaw in your plan. I think you've been giving energy or your problem-solving skills to the wrong people who they leave you high and dry when the shoe is on the other foot. So it's really awesome that with the acknowledgement that something in your life needs to be released or removed or at minimum distance from it, you start taking on this new vibe of, oh yeah, like this feels good. Like I'm not carrying other people's weight. Like I got my own shit to do and I'm really good at it, right? Of course you are. You've been doing everybody else's work for so long. It's like, wow, it's kind of nice when I can just focus on mine and crush it, right? This is not about being egocentric. This is not about being selfish. This is about something that's long overdue to you because you've been more or less like putting your eggs in the wrong basket or putting your energy in the wrong people's situations. For some of you, this might just be at work. You may have been taking on more responsibility than you were, than what you originally signed on for. And so at minimum, if you're not going to up and leave this place or this person, and some of you won't, it's just about setting healthier boundaries, right? Drawing a line in the sand saying, I will do this. This is what I agreed to. This is what I'm getting paid for. Not that. And not feeling guilty about it, right? You're calling the shots now. You're the empress. And there might be a male counterpart that is agitating this side of you, or that maybe was bringing out that lower vibrational side of that kind of sad energy of, oh, I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. I am not feeling confident enough to express my truth or my voice in this matter. And that's like so anti-Gemini to me. You're literally an air sign. Communication is one of your greatest skills, one of your greatest strength, a strong point in your, resumes or, tools on your tool belt. So the fact that maybe you feel like you've been silenced, or if you have tried to advocate for yourself in the past and were immediately shut down, again, where are you holding that truth as something that will always be? Well, that happened to me once, so now it's my mindset. It's my wound, really. It's my shadow side telling me, oh, well, they're always going to reject you. They're always going to turn you down, so may as well adjust. I'm saying, like, in this sarcastic way, like, that's been your mindset, so you need to change the perspective of, no, like, you offer so much to this company, to this person, to this family dynamic, whatever it is, they need to start treating you better and respecting you more, or, at minimum, there needs to be some sort of, I do want to use the word consequence, and you need to figure out what that is, but it does have to do with establishing healthier boundaries, and I'm going to say this, healthier power dynamics, because these two are at the exact same level, Emperor, Empress. We can call it a gender thing, but it doesn't need to be. These could be two females or two males. They both hold the title. It's both the kingdom, the castle. They own it mutually. One is not above the other, and yet the Empress, whoever this is, has been doing like the slave labor work and not reaping the benefits of it. Especially like the respect, the authority, the ability, or the ability to call the shots. That is what is severely lacking here. It's so funny. It just started like pouring. I don't know if you can hear it. It's like hitting my air conditioner. I just felt like that was symbolic. It started pouring as I was saying that, and it's coming down, right? I'll leave it at that. All right, well, let's wrap this up, and then we'll do maybe something on love. In terms of major arcana, I really just have Capricorn, but we have to remember Capricorn is very much tied to 10th house energy, so that has a lot to do with your public reputation, your career, your goals, your ambition, it more in the external world. If Cancer is the private, the internal, the house, the home, Capricorn 10th house, right? You know, Cancer being 4th. Capricorn 10th house is more like, again, public, your public role, your work life, your career, your long-term goals. I also have Aries here with the Emperor. And then the Empress is more of a planet card. It represents Venus. So Venus is a planet very much tied to money and wealth. But it is also tied to, of course, love and romance, as we know. Specifically, zodiac signs Taurus and Libra are both represented in this card. So just throwing a couple zodiac signs at you if you need that confirmation. Certainly, it could be anything. There's a Leo at the bottom of the deck. So I'm almost getting there could be a Leo in your life that is a very good support system. Someone who maybe will help you carry this heavy load, or help you through a difficult period where maybe you're making important decisions on who or what you need to cut out of your life, or who or what you need to assert more authority with. Authority is big. With the Devil and the Emperor coming in, there's an unhealthy power dynamic there. Okay, tell me one more thing about this and then we'll do love. Ace of Wands. This is a new beginning. And this is about stepping into your power. Wands is more fire-esque energy, and we have to remember fire signs. Some qualities, some elements that are common among fire signs is, it's funny, the first word I was going to say is urgency. Creativity, spirituality, but action. Action is what I associate most with sort of Wands. Communication, speaking your truth. Fire signs have a reputation sometimes for being very blunt, even at times where maybe it's not the most, politically correct thing or whatever. But that's what I think this so desperately needs. I'm not suggesting you say things purposely to be controversial, but somebody had a very similar reading. I think it was Taurus. Interesting that energy came through here. There's something that needs to be said, and it's like, I don't know if it's the elephant in the room, but in your head it is, and I think to me that's saying this so desperately needs to be expressed. We need to shed light on the situation, fire type energy, in order to kind of rebuild from here. Almost like to get, this sounds weird, but like to get blood flowing again, to get the fire back, to get the magic, the passion, to rekindle whatever this is if you want it. Otherwise, this is carrying the torch for yourself. There's a new head honcho or new, almost like entrepreneurial type spirit. Like you're doing something for yourself because it's what lights your fire. I'm getting something about I'm getting this image of weeds or flowers or something like that growing through brick or concrete. And so I feel like that's very symbolic of, I don't mean to make this a gender thing, but the expression the man. It's almost like the concrete, the brick, the heaviness. Life will grow through that. There will be this thing that needs to be nurtured that is so desperately seeking, sunlight and warmth, and this, its ability to thrive despite the obstacles, despite the concrete, despite the law, the regulation, the authority, the man, the order, whatever. Again, it's not gender the man. You guys know that expression, right? You are finding your way through, and it seems like it's incredibly challenging. But there is light on the other side of this. It's almost like you're gasping for air, but you're starting to get it, and that nourishment that you so desperately need, there's I don't want to let it go this time. So again, I'm going to be a really good self-advocate. I'm going to not just ask for what I need, but more or less there's a vibe here of I'm going to tell you what I need now. This isn't a question. This isn't, do you mind if I, or, I'm so sorry that this is so here's what I'm going to need from you. There's you do a 180, and a lot of it just has to do with reclaiming your power and your confidence. You hold the torch. I like that. Ace of Wands. It's very, very kind of magician-esque, right? My Geminis are ruled by Mercury. That's very connected to the Magician Tarot. You hold the magic wand. You hold the power. So use it wisely, Gemini. The Star. Yeah, you're going through a period of self-healing. And of course you are. The North Node is in Gemini, so it's you're reclaiming your identity. It's Gemini season, so In astrology, there's different planets. Planets like Venus and Jupiter are what we call benefic planets, meaning there's a more lighthearted, lucky, abundant quality to them. So Venus just went through your sign, Gemini. Right now, the Sun is going through Gemini. The Sun can have both connotations, but typically I almost said in tarot. In astrology, when the Sun moves through your sign, it is like shining a spotlight on it, but I'm almost getting the idea of shining a spotlight like through the magnifying glass on ants, like, oh shit, that's gonna hurt. The Sun is actually considered the opposite of benefic. It's called a malefic. Same with like Saturn, same with Mars, right? It's not that the planet is wholly bad, but it brings with it more challenging energy. And so, with the Sun in Gemini, you might be feeling a little bit strained, a little bit stressed, but we have to remember that the Sun's purpose is growth, is expression of your core ego, your identity, right? So in the long run, this will pay off, but Saturn says it's a karmic lesson you're meant to go through. So I always say, the story doesn't end here just because you're experiencing trouble. That's no reason to give up. But I think it is asking you where you need to make some very overdue, necessary changes in your life. All right, let's talk about love. Yeah, 8 of Swords. Don't let fear drive the bus. You are in control of your thoughts and what you assign value to. So assign it to you, first and foremost. Do you value yourself? Do you love yourself? It's a heavy question, right? All right, here we go. For love, what does Gemini have coming in for love? Something with the past, maybe? Judgment? The letter I, or I know this sounds crazy, but multiple I's. Is there a name that has a lot of I's in it? Like, as in, like, Isabel, or, I don't know, or I don't know, someone's last name, or, I don't know. The letter I, like ice cream. That's very funny. All right, why are we doing this? Someone who may be a musician or someone who's a very creative spirit. If you are interested in the same gender and the same sex couples, there may be someone from your past returning, particularly a fire sign or a Scorpio. All right, where are we going here? What do we need to re-examine from the past? With Judgment, it always says we need to return to the past in order to close out a cycle and bring sort of completion to something that has been... There are still loose ends that need to be tied. Sometimes it just has to do with going back mentally and making amends with something internally. Sometimes it's physically going back to a person and having that conversation or professing what you need to say to them, that kind of thing. Let's see what these tarot cards are. So reciprocity, the 6 of discs, 6 of coins, right? Equal give and take. And then the 3 of swords, which is usually points out a little bit of healing work that needs to get done. An imbalance in either internally or in a relationship. Probably in a relationship with the 6 of pentacles. There are 3 hands here, so hearing the word like charity case. I know this is kind of an unusual message. You guys know I never mean to offend. I'm just going to follow through with this. It almost feels like there was a time where you considered dating somebody or actually did engage, but there's a better word for it. Entertain, not more than tolerate, but more or less entertain the idea of keeping someone in your life because you felt bad breaking up with them. And I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but I get that a lot in tarot, though. So, yeah, I just feel like there may be something that has been done energetically for a long time, but you haven't necessarily, like, pulled the final cord to be like, so I think I got to break up with you. If it's not that, it feels like there may have been someone in the past that... I'm not saying it was intentional. I think you very likely did the best you could with the knowledge and tools you had at the time, but as you've grown and developed on your spiritual path, you may look back on your past and feel like maybe you used somebody a little bit. I know that's a harsh message, right? But, self-awareness is always a really good thing. You may look back and feel like, either you didn't have the heart to tell this person the truth, and so if you didn't use them, it feels like maybe you strung them along, and in time you realized longer than you should have. So you may be going back to make amends and offer an apology or heal or fix the relationship Probably not to go back and engage romantically. I don't necessarily sense that. It could be an apology. It could also just be clearing it out of your conscience and almost allowing yourself to not necessarily feel guilty about it, even though you've come to the conclusion that you probably would do it differently if this thing were to happen again. With a different person, with a different prospect. You've learned a tremendous amount of lessons about not allowing people into your orbit when you are not ready to offer them the best version of yourself. I hope that makes sense. This does feel like you're coming to some sort of internal conclusion or bringing completion to a chapter of your life that at least mentally was always left sort of unfinished. If none of that makes sense, it's possible that, again, similar scenario, going back to the past to someone who really hurt you, you may have to reconcile this internally for yourself and understand that they just quite simply chose someone else. And so I think Three of Wands, you've decided that it's not really worth waiting on someone else for them to see how special you are or to notice that you're just as good as everyone else because you know it internally, right? Do you understand? That's what this message is too. A lot of you, it feels like for a long time, maybe you were waiting to hear from someone or hoping someone came around. And I think in time you just realized it's not respecting yourself because it's allowing yourself to be plan B, or you're allowing yourself to, you're making this person your priority when they are not making you their priority. And so there's a mismatch. Do you see there's an imbalance? A lot of you are being very self-reflexive right now. I don't know if that's the right word. You're being very introspective right now and looking back on the past. You're starting to see things with more clarity again on where maybe you didn't have the most healthy boundaries set, but you're doing a significant amount of work to right the wrong and to move into the next chapter with a higher set of standards. Gemini, I like this. All right, so from here, in fact, let's get one more card and then we'll go into the future. Let's see what's coming in. Some of you may have a Pisces or a Cancer in your future. Yeah, you're committing to a new game plan, a new strategy as you move forward in love. Something about this past situation may at one point in time have involved a Taurus, a Capricorn, or an Aries. All right. And moving forward, what do we got coming in? It's so interesting. I was about to say something about a Sagittarius is coming through, but I can't quite place it. I'm almost being told to say it's like literal judging. Like the term judgment, it's almost like you feel like you're being judged by a Sagittarius unfairly, or vice versa. You feel like, I guess vice versa would be that you're passing judgment on a Sagittarius. But why? And so I'm with you. I'm like, but why is that significant? Let's see here. Because then you literally had Temperance fall out. So to me, that's a double confirmation. There's something to do with a Sagittarius here. There could have been fighting or arguments or competition. Are you in competition for the Sagittarius, or is the Sagittarius in competition for you? I mean, you know the answer to that, right? There may be something with a Scorpio coming through here. What is going on here? There's also a message here about the inner conflict, the inner turmoil that for the longest time it felt like it would never go away. There is healing there. You've actually already made a lot of progress, even though you might not realize it. Keep focusing on the healing work because, again, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but it's like you're more than halfway through the tunnel. You can start to feel the light. Sun in Gemini, quite literally, it's a spotlight on you. But with that, it's also turning a spotlight or highlighting the areas that still need a little bit of work. So this is not to overwhelm you. This is just to say, like, you're getting there. You're doing so good, so you need to be your biggest cheerleader. This is a time where you have to believe in yourself because that's what's going to usher you into this new chapter. And this struggle, this turmoil, this fighting, this conflict, both internal and external, it will subside, and there's a personal victory up ahead for you. You may feel like you're fighting. You may feel like you're fighting for a relationship with the Sagittarius, and that I could view that in multiple ways. Like you want to be with them even though they've left, or you guys are together and you're fighting to make it work, but it feels like a struggle. happier times definitely lie ahead for you. To be honest, I see a lot of you getting back out in the dating world, but I don't necessarily see something set in stone or super exclusive in the coming month or so. I think it's like you're putting out the vibe, you're putting yourself out there, and you're moving forward confidently. And a lot of you are getting more comfortable with the idea that your identity doesn't rest on needing to be associated with a romantic partner or with a certain friend or a certain person in your life. You are golden on your own. Anything else is just extra bells and whistles, right? This type of vibe is a great energy to like crush a job interview or go out on a date. It's very confident. It's very well poised. There's no need to self-edit or over-explain yourself. There's just like a quiet confidence. There's an ease of being at home in your own skin, in your own body. So it's a great energy to attract whatever it is that you want in your life and manifesting. And some of you, I get it, you're working to be in that headspace, but you will get there, right? Temperance really does have to do with wellness and healing, putting yourself first, prioritizing your self-care. I think you have either a very close-knit family or a close-knit group of friends who are trying to protect you from energies that they sense are not good for you. It very much feels like all these people in your life, they're like trying to exclude this romantic suitor or a boss who really is abusive, or not physically abusive, probably verbally abusive, or I don't know, some kind of shady character in your life. It's like everybody's caught on but you, Gemini, because I get it, it's complicated. You probably had feelings for them, or you probably were promised that raise or that promotion, but everybody else around you seems to be like, let's cut this guy out of the picture. Do you see how there's like 4 people like, nope, like don't you touch my Gemini. It's a very protective energy. Those are the people, in this reading in particular, I think they have very good intentions for you. It's coming from a place of love. You make decisions for yourself, right? You're responsible and accountable for all that. But I do think now is a time to rejoice with either literally your family or your soul fam, your chosen family, your friends, because they're the ones who are going to celebrate you. They are your cheerleaders. They're the ones who are going to lift you up when you're feeling down. So enjoy that. Don't take it for granted, right? Maybe things are a little bit patchy as you're healing from a nasty breakup or whatever this is, but that's not reason to understand all the blessings that you do currently have in your life, Gemini, because you do. You have a lot of them. There could be a social gathering where you connect romantically with a Cancer, or this could be in Cancer season. You may find yourself with a lot of prospects in dating. And again, going out and socializing, I don't see this as exclusive, but I don't see it as third-party energy. I see this as just like really happy, awesome vibes. I believe this is Mercury in Cancer is like the planetary connotation to this tarot card. So again, Mercury, which is your ruling planet, so it's socializing. It's about self-expression. It's about exchanging phone numbers and texting all day and all night, or whatever it is that you want to do. Cancer, there's more forward movement. Cancer season, which is just around the corner. I think it begins like the 21st of June, I want to say, and for about a month, there's going to be a lot more speed and a lot more momentum and traction gained in making social connections, making friendships, making dating connections, all that, which makes sense too because Mercury has been in retrograde, and I believe it goes forward next week, or there's a better term for that. It stations direct. I think that's what we say. I'm still learning, guys. Mercury stations direct, I think, next week, again, around the 20th. So get ready for Cancer season. I think there's going to be more of an ease in how you move forward. And so it's an excellent time in retrograde season where by default we kind of go back to the past. That's where all your exes show up and your thought goes back to the past. It's a good time to wrap all this kind of extra stuff up that, again, it's kind of been weighing on you, and commit to your new path forward. The Hierophant. Believe that your future will be better. Work towards it. Build towards it. Taurus is the maintainer, right? All right, Gemini. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap you there. That's what I got for you. I could read for you all day, Gemini. You know that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you. Please remember to like the video. That really does help my channel grow. That's the point of all this, right? So like the video, subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you next week for more tarot. Bye, Gemini. Oh, and happy birthday, Gemini. I hope you guys are having an awesome birthday season.